Hi, this is Ian Westerman. I'm the head pro at EssentialTennis.com, where it's my mission to bring passionate instruction to passionate tennis players. Welcome to episode number 33 of Ask Ian. Today we're going to be answering a question from, and please forgive me if I don't pronounce this correctly, I believe it's the Macarelli, or something, the Macaradelli. Or something close to that. My apologies, I'm sure that's not right. But he wrote to me and said, "Hey Ian, I'm having troubles with my rhythm. When I start to practice, I'm in my top level of footwork, technique, and coordination, but as the practice keeps going, my level starts to decrease. And no, this is not a fitness problem. I start to miss-hit a lot of shots, etc. Any suggestions?" Okay, what you're describing is very, very likely a drop in your level of focus, your ability to stay sharp mentally and maintain a high level of concentration. And for me personally, what's really helpful in describing this is kind of thinking of the brain as a muscle, something that takes tension and takes conscious kind of workout to build it up and to build its ability to stay sharp and stay focused over time. And this is something that if you just kind of ignore it and you maybe try to shrug it off and you try to maybe not make a big issue out of it and you ignore it, it's the type of thing that will continue to occur over and over and over again. Kind of like, if you ignore your physical conditioning, your muscular or your cardiovascular conditioning, and maybe you get winded or you get tired, physically, and you just kind of shrug it off and say, oh, whatever. I don't need to do anything about this. It's maybe just the way it is. Mental conditioning is just like physical conditioning in that you can build up your ability to stay resilient and to be able to maintain your focus. And this is something that you have to do consciously. Consciously is the wrong word. This is something that you have to do deliberately. It's not something that some people are just born with and other people are not. It's something that you can train. And the best way to train it is just simply to put yourself in situations and scenarios where it takes a lot of repetitive focus or concentration. Practice would be a great example of that, where you're trying to maintain a nice high level of intensity and focus. A match certainly would be another example of that, kind of a little bit different type of focus where there's kind of some pressure involved and there's something on the line that you don't want to lose, you're trying to win, etc. A little bit different type of focus and concentration. But whatever it is that you're trying to sharpen, you need to put yourself purposefully in those situations. And then when you feel your concentration start to wane and you start to lose focus and whatever the symptom might be, whether it be your feet slowing down or you start to miss-hit shots, those are symptoms of the larger problem, which is lack of focus and lack of concentration. Whenever you feel those symptoms start to creep in and your performance starts to drop, you just have to trigger, remind yourself, okay, I need to bring my intensity level back up again mentally. And this is something that, again, kind of like training yourself physically and going out and maybe doing sprints, doing some high-intensity interval training, and you're going as hard as possible, for 30 seconds, and then you take a short rest. And then you go as hard as possible for 30 seconds and you take a short rest. The first time you do that, you're probably going to notice your performance drop significantly within the first, 3 or 4 intervals. But if you do that 3 times a week for a couple months, all of a sudden you'll find yourself being able to do 10, 15, or maybe 20 intervals and maintain the same level of intensity, the same level of speed. And it's the same thing mentally. You have to put yourself in those scenarios where you exercise, that muscle, that quote, mental muscle. Challenge yourself, force yourself to continue to up your level of focus when you feel it dropping, and then over time you'll build your ability to be able to maintain that level of focus and concentration. Again, it's important to understand that this is something that's not just born. It's not just in your DNA that you're good at focusing or you're not good at focusing. Otherwise, a lot of people just give up on this and they say, well, I'm just, whatever. I'm just bad at concentrating. I have ADHD or whatever. I'm a firm believer that anybody, regardless of where they start, can improve these types of skills. And it's all a relative thing. If you've never trained this type of thing before, then You may find that it's kind of hard going at first. But don't let that discourage you, because you can make significant improvements, and it is worth it, because if you can maintain that intensity level, then you'll see much, much better results on the court. So hopefully that makes sense. If you're watching today on YouTube and you've enjoyed this video, please do me a favor and click like. Also subscribe to the Essential Tennis YouTube channel so you don't miss out on future lessons and episodes of Ask Ian and pro footage and all kinds of other things that we're constantly publishing. And lastly, if you have any comments or questions, leave those down below. Maybe I'll feature one of your questions on a future episode of Ask Ian. Until then, thank you for tuning in today. Really appreciate your time and your attention. Take care, and good luck with your tennis.